Hey, this is Steve Bloom, and you are listening to the Geekcast Radio Network.
You're tuned in to Steve Megatron on Altered Geek Unlimited.
Hello and welcome to Altered Geek Unleashed. I'm your host Steve Megatron Phillips, and joining me this Thanksgiving week is
Dave, Joe, and Mike.
Mike the Birdman Dodd. I had my Thanksgiving a month ago. But happy Thanksgiving to you fuckers.
Yeah, it's gonna be Turkey Day tomorrow. We're recording this instead of Thursday on a Wednesday.
Yep. Hell, I thought today was Thursday when I woke up this morning.
I would think it would be too, but that's because my whole week's been not. It's not been consistent. I don't know. All of my weeks have been messed up, and they're going to be messed up for the rest of the year because of like remainder of taking my vacation days and various days off that we get for holidays. So
I don't see the sun. All I play is Fallout. What day is this?
I've been playing the new Unreal Tournament, which is free. It's being developed by fans of Unreal Tournament, Epic Games, the Unreal guys. It's basically totally run and put together by the fans and people that have developed the original Unreal Tournament games. But the catch is besides it being free and it's in public alpha, if people were to develop, say, add-ons or expansions or mods or whatever, you just pay a couple bucks just to, that they're doing it through like an app store type method. So you enhance the game with those pieces by paying a couple bucks here or there, which isn't a bad deal actually. But they've updated one of the maps that's Capture the Flag that I enjoy. That's been on every Unreal Tournament since '99, the inception of the franchise, and it's the facing worlds where they have like the two towers on opposite sides, and there's a big hole in the middle of the map, and then there's like an outer spot where you run across and have to capture the flag and bring it back. I'm good at it, like decently good at it in Unreal Tournament 2004 and Unreal Tournament 3. I'm like a god in the level. Unreal Tournament 4, or newly dubbed Unreal Tournament, the new one, is the speed on this game puts every other Unreal Tournament and every other first-person shooter that I've ever played to shame, because it moves so freakishly fast that if your brain is not firing on all processors, you are not going to succeed at this game. And I don't know if it's like purposefully done that way or if it's still because it's an alpha or what, but I enjoy it because I think it's funny. In certain levels, not that one, but certain levels I do pretty well. And when I play like Battlefield, because I'm expecting it to be a lot faster than it actually is, and it's more of a waiting game and sitting around waiting to sneak up on people compared to Unreal Tournament where you openly oppose people. It's totally different world. But I've been playing those lately.
I've been playing Fallout like a shit ton. Also been playing some Halo 5 Guardians still. I only ever play the assault mode, like Warzone or whatever, so still having fun with that. There's some new Arkham Knight content I'm hoping to get to this weekend. There's like a new Two-Face level. There's a Catwoman's bit of story DLC, which picks up after the main game ends, so that should be pretty cool. I think of what else. I got Star Wars Battlefront for Christmas. Really regretting that in retrospect. It's not that it's a bad. It's not that it's a bad game. It's just not worth what they're asking for. which is kind of terrible.
Which I've heard from a lot of people that have been playing Battlefield 4.
Yeah, like in Battlefield 4, at least you had your main weapon and you could switch to a pistol. In this one, here's your blaster rifle, go to town. It sucks in that regard. I'm hoping with the DLC they'll flush it out a little bit more. I just don't know what the server population is going to be by the time it comes out. Like it looks gorgeous. It sounds gorgeous too. It's fun for casual people, but there is no strategy behind it really, as far as I'm concerned. It's not Battlefield 4 and it's not COD, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just not the shooter I wanted, all things considered. But it looks pretty. I'll give you that much. Do you think what else I've been kind of playing that's really worth kind of mentioning? Finished Rise of the Tomb Raider. People, that's a must-buy for an Xbox One. Holy shit, is that game good. Like, I cannot wait till PC and PlayStation 4 players get it. You guys are going to be blown away by it. It's so good. So, yeah, speaking of that, Black Friday. Steve, I wish I won the lottery because I would so buy you a PlayStation 4.
I wish I won the lottery. I would buy an Xbox One.
I'd get you both. Truthfully, man, there are so many good deals this weekend right now. Like, you can get a PlayStation 4 with, like, 4 games for $300.
Yeah, I don't have any money.
Dude, go fucking shank people, okay? Can we start, please get Steve a, like, next-gen console fund? So, Steve, you and I would do a game show for GCRN every week. Hit people! Get him a console!
I literally would play it online at this point. I enjoy my PC, but it requires me to sit in a chair in an office, whereas on my couch, I can sit on my ass and my couch and play.
Actually,
and
speaking of gaming chairs,
come to enjoy that, so.
There is this company I've been working with for the last little while. They sent me a chair for review. They're called DX Racer. Mm-hmm. And they're these super high-end PC and console gaming chairs. Like, big YouTubers use them. Like, I see Angry Joe, Drifter, a lot of people from the Call of Duty and the MOBA communities use them. They're like $300-400, but it's like sitting on like a cloud, a race car cloud. But it's really, really, really cool. So if you ever want to get a more comfortable chair for your office, if you can drop the bucks on it, absolutely check their shit out. Like, it is so cool. I think it's dxracer.com. Want to see more of their stuff. They actually have a Call of Duty branded chair, which we can't get in Canada, which makes me so sad. I would seriously get a U.S. postal box just to get this chair because it looks friggin' sick.
And just wait for the Mass Effect chairs.
Oh! You would have seen my O face there, I'm just saying.
I would have rather get a Mass Effect chair than a Call of Duty.
Just an N7 logo on the back. Oh my god, dude, just take the money. Just make it rain. Oh, man, I'm sorry. BioWare, if you're listening.
Mass Effect for the win.
Mass Effect for the damn win. Oh my god, you know what would be cool? And now that we're just talking about branding, I would love to have a SHIELD chair. Just have the SHIELD logo on the back, or like the Avengers chair. Man, Steve, you're onto something. I'm
just saying, I mean, it would be awesome. And then, you know, you have the multi-button controls like Captain Kirk on his command chair, and then, you know, even the Jeffrey Hunter, Captain Pike days where you had the microphone on the chair, and then, you know, you're all set.
And if you could put like a charging dock in like the back of your headset, or in like the back of the headrest. Okay, so we have this awesome Kickstarter. You guys can help us set it up. Man, that would be awesome, man. That'd be sick. That would be legit sick.
And then have the keyboard and mouse so it literally like folds out of your like armrests and
but it's got to be a mechanical keyboard. So it's really hype. Man, we could totally build this, man.
He said microphone. The first thing I thought of was the Snake Mountain microphone from the 80s playset.
And I actually I was so sad when I had to sell my Snake Mountain, but I think Kevin owns it now.
Yeah, Kevin's got it.
So yeah, Kevin has all my old He-Man crap. Damn, I wish I never sold that stuff. But oh well.
He's glad you did.
Yeah.
He's very glad I did, bastard. But someday, I will get my He-Man and my Ghostbusters stuff back. Someday.
So you're gonna drive to his house and rob him.
Oh no, I want minted box now. If I've got the money.
It's going to cost you even more than what you sold it to him for.
Well, the
Maybe.
first time I bought Castle Grayskull, this was on eBay. I guess it would have been 2 or 3 years ago. I got it not mint in box, but complete in box. I think I paid $400 for it. I was surprised how good shape the box was in. It utterly blew me away. It cost like
Wait.
$50-$60 to ship.
Wait, how many years ago did you do this?
About 3 or 4 years ago, and then I sold it.
I was
together.
going to say, because you could have got the new one that Mattel has for like $200 less than what the vintage one was that you paid.
I don't know. There's something about the way the vintage plastic feels like, and this is going to sound weird, but even the way that it smells. Old toys have have a very unique smell to them.
We
I miss that stuff.
This is coming out on Thanksgiving, right, Steve?
Yes.
Okay, so Kevin and I have already recorded episode 49 of The Powers of Grayskull, Myths of Etheria, where we're reviewing every episode of She-Ra. We have also recorded episode 50, which is we're talking about the toys overall, and that comes out December 1st. And the only reason why I'm bringing this up now, I'm not trying to pimp it out, but the only reason why I bring it up now is because you mentioned the smell. I remember I did not need to go to any science lab in elementary school. All I had to do for a stink bomb was bring like 6 different Stinkor action figures.
That and Moss Man had a really weird smell too.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, and you just take them and throw them at people.
Yep.
What was the name of the big grizzly looking dude? The guy who was brown.
Grizzlor.
Grizzlor or some shit like that?
Grizzlor was on the horde side, and then
yeah.
and then Beastman was on Skeletor's side.
Yeah,
because Beastman was red.
Yeah, well, orange, I think.
Well,
yeah,
no,
like,
he's red in the
I just
cartoon.
remember the Grizzlor toy had a funky smell about it too.
Yeah.
Maybe that was just mine. I don't know, but Moss Man smelled gross. How did we get here?
I don't know, but they actually replicated that smell for the Masters of the Universe Classics version of Moss Man.
And those toys, I sold mine to Kevin too. I had the Masters of the Universe Classics.
Mm-hmm.
I had He-Man, I had She-Ra, and I had Skeletor. Those toys are so good. If I had the money, I would seriously get that entire line. Because they are gorgeously articulated figures.
The yearly subscription to get everything for this upcoming year, which the deadline's already passed, so you can't subscribe at this point. But Kevin and I did the math at the end of that episode I mentioned that's coming up next week. It would be $400 to get everything from next year's MattyCollector.com toy line for just that year.
How many figures is that?
It's 12 figures, vehicles, a couple other. I don't know, but it's basically.
You said it's like $400 divided by 12.
Yeah,
that's only $33. That's actually not that bad.
No, it's not that bad because it's a collector line. It's not. It's one of the reasons.
It's not
why,
for children.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons why He-Man and She-Ra and all that stuff isn't in stores anymore. The only time He-Man's been in stores in the last 10 years is when they did the DC Universe Masters crossover. When they had He-Man and Superman and Merman and Aquaman and all that stuff, yeah. I don't know how the hell we got on. I'm sorry, Steve. I don't know how we got onto He-Man toys. We went from video games to Kickstarters to He-Man.
Man, I could talk toys all day long, man. Because you know what? Like I said, Christmas is coming up in just a few weeks. I am so excited for all the Star Wars toys I'm hopefully going to try and get. Like, there's one I want right now, and I feel like about 5 because I want it. But it's the Stormtrooper First Order Deluxe Blaster. Mm-hmm. It's in scale for an E11 blaster rifle. And that's the little kid in me. I want a blaster rifle. When I was a kid, when they had the Powers of the Force collection out in the mid-90s, they had this electronic Stormtrooper blaster rifle, and I'd still give my left testicle for it if I could get one today. I used to skip school, high school, and me and my friends would run through Walmart having blaster fights. I'm about 5, just like to point this out. But But yeah, I love toy guns. I've always had a huge love affair with them. Actually, true story. When I was a kid, I had a toy gun that looked like Rambo's Uzi. Someone called the cops on me because I thought I was pointing a gun at cars. So I hid in my best friend's basement at the time to get away from the cops.
Now, that happened a lot back in the 80s because that's one of the reasons why anytime you try to find a G1 Megatron now, half of them come with an orange tip.
Yeah, like, I remember, one of my friends, Jamie, kind of growing up, he had a Takara Megatron, right? Back before Hasbro kind of got it all, like, I guess before they changed it up. Yeah, his still shot bullets.
Yeah.
At the time, so he had like one of the first releases for that. And I remember when it was a big deal when they used to put warnings on toys back in the 70s. They had this Battlestar Galactica Viper, and it had a shooting missile. Some kid choked on it, and that's why we never got the rocket firing.
Boba Fett.
Yeah, Boba Fett. And I always found that really dumb. Like, kids, don't be stupid. But then again, I grew up in the era of lawn darts. And surprisingly still here. Well, okay, because I'm truly stupid. My parents raised me as an archer. Like, literally, I used to have an awesome kind of bow and arrow. My string was made out of leather. My bow shaft was made out of, like, maple or something.
So you're essentially a Canadian Green Arrow?
Or Hawkeye, depending. So my idea of fun was to take 2 or 3 arrows, notch them, fire them straight up in the air, and play dodge.
Oh no!
Now,
So you're doing what they did in Grown Ups 1.
Now I was smart and took out the arrowheads. They flew a little bit funky, but they'd still hit the ground. If they hit you in the head, it still hurt. Yeah. Why am I still alive?
Yeah, all I can think of is you'll shoot your eye out, kid.
I did that once. Actually, my parents bought me a BB gun for Christmas, and literally the shot ricocheted. We used to have this like camper trailer.
And you stepped on your glasses, and your dad was almost going to kill you.
Well, actually, you know what? I didn't start wearing glasses till I was like 20, actually, which is weird. Actually, no, 24 is when I started wearing glasses. Just before I went to college. Wow, that's been a while. Holy shit. Anyway, yeah, like when I was a kid, my parents bought me a Red Ryder BB gun. And we used to have this big camper in the backyard because, hey, I'm like 8 years old and I thought this was fun. I used to shoot holes in the top of the camper thing. I was thinking, ha ha ha. And one ricochet hit me right in the freaking eye, right beside, like that little small patch between your nose and your eye.
You didn't even need a Scott Farkas.
Why am I not blind? What?
You didn't even need a Scott Farkas to be your bully. You were your own
no.
bully.
I was a danger to myself at all times. I'm so surprised I'm not dead for all the stupid shit that I've done. Anyway, now that I've derailed the show into Mike's life, here you go.
The day in the life of Mike's life.
Well, I spent 4 hours creating potentially the next 2 years of mine and Steve's podcasting lives.
Man, I just fly by the seat of my pants week to week.
No, I have to at least have some sort of plan, some sort of direction. I can't. No, it drives me crazy. Yeah, no. Winging it's fine every now and then, but not with this. And we're not even going to say what this is going to be. We'll tell you later, but
GCRN presents Porn Week in Review.
No, that's more like This Week in Geek presents Porn Week in Review.
Hey, I volunteer as friggin' tribute, man. I'm just saying.
You know what?
You'll lay down on the line and take one for the team.
He'll probably take more. He'll probably take more than one.
I was like, man, do you know how many porn stars I'm actually friends with? Half of them are gamers, which is kind of weird.
Still funny though.
Oh yeah, love them.
So since we're kind of already derailed anyway, it doesn't matter. Are there some Kickstarters that you guys have been following, since that's going to kind of play into what we're going to talk about for a little bit?
Well, I guess a better question would be, what Kickstarters has everybody backed here?
I don't have any money to back anything.
Okay, well that's easy then. Steve, what about you, man?
Recently, which is funny, I think it's actually the only one I've ever done. It is not because I don't want to, but because like I see a million of them, and some of them just don't. I don't know. Some of them I want to, but I don't see enough incentive to do so. But the one that I went for recently, and it just looked like an interesting concept, and I figure it would be fun to use on the show. Is it's a board game called Buy the Rights, the movie pitching party game. And what the goal of it is players create their own movies based on 4 decks of cards and pitch their ideas to the producer. And so it gives you like a genre, a hero descriptor, a hero, and a plot. So like you could, one of the examples they have is like for the genre, it's post-apocalyptic. For the hero descriptor, it's socially awkward. For the hero, it's former president. And then plot is befriending a giant robot that fell from space. And then they've got like if it hits a certain level, because it's going to have 400 total unique cards, 100 million combinations basically, and then play money for it. And it looks really nicely designed. The play money is like $5 million, $10 million, and $20 million bill cards.
What's it called again, Steve?
It's called Buy the Rights, like purchase buy. And then what they're planning on doing is if it hits a certain level of funding, like $20,000, they will do an 80s action expansion pack. So everybody that's done the $25 and over levels will get it. And currently this thing's at like almost $9,000 out of the $15,000 that it's needed to make it in the first place. But it's if it gets to the 80s thing, it's going to have some new cards and everything, and it's reminiscent of old movie trading cards in style, because they're going to come in foil packs. And then what it's going to do awesome 80s movies, so like genre 80s action, hero descriptor nearly retired, hero Black Ops Commando, plot defeating an ancient sorcerer in the underbelly of Chinatown. So, and it's got dice and everything else. So, I mean, it looks really, really fun. And so I figured even if nothing else, even if the 80s thing doesn't come into play, I figured it'd be something fun to like occasionally like throw together on the show and come up with like funky combinations for a mock movie.
Yeah, you can have a lot of fun playing this online with like a live stream. Now, are they actually going to make a physical board, or is it going to be like a kind of app version for this?
It's a physical board game.
That's amazing, and this is not the first board game I've seen on Kickstarter. I know there was like a Mega Man one that came out like last year, I think. The Ghostbusters one, that went insane. And you can now buy the retail version of it. Actually, it just came out last month. Although the Kickstarter version is significantly friggin' cooler. Because you get like extra cards, you get like an exclusive Marshmallow Man and some other shit. For Kickstarters I've backed, I've only backed 3 of them. One I've actually got my Kickstarter reward about friggin' time. Actually, no, two out of 3 I've actually gotten stuff. The first one I backed was there's a pinball game called Pinball Arcade, and the campaign was to get the rights to Terminator 2, which is one of the most amazing pinball machines if you've ever played it. It's so much fun. So they needed $59,000 to get the rights. They raised $62,000, and there are about 1,800 or almost 1,900 backers for it. And I think I pitched it at the $10 level. I got it on whatever platform I want. I think I chose like Xbox or PlayStation or something. That was totally worth it. They also did a Kickstarter for Star Trek: The Next Generation. I think that was by Stern, which is also an amazing pinball table if you ever get a chance to play it. The other one I backed, because you guys know I love the kind of role-playing games, is I backed Call of Cthulhu, the 7th edition Kickstarter. So they needed to raise $40,000. They raised just over $500,000. Like almost 3,700 people backed this thing. And this Kickstarter's been up and down. This is one of those Kickstarters that almost would have been a giant fuck you if it weren't for external people coming in. The company that originally did it, or the people that were originally behind the scenes of this, pissed away the money. We were supposed to get this back in 2013. It's obviously not then. So we're supposed to get our physical rewards beginning next month. And evidently the guy who had the money, like, pissed it away, for basically trying to save the company and prop it up. So they couldn't fulfill anything. He's like, yeah, the book's at the printers. And now this summer, a new management team came out, bought the company that was originally going to do this. And they're like, yeah, he kind of screwed you guys, as I understand it. So they came in, fixed everything possible, and they finally got the Kickstarter at the printers. They've actually shown us pictures of the actual proofs and everything. And they actually said, okay, when these are on the ship from China, here are the GPS coordinates. You can follow this boat across the ocean. And I've never seen a company go that far out. Plus, one of the cool things is, with this Kickstarter, the guys have always been going back and forth with people, trying to give them ultimate transparency. And I've seen so many Kickstarters, especially with books, that tend to go the wrong way. Now, I backed this at the $250 level because you got all these add-ons, and when Kickstarters reach certain goals, if they go over that, you get stretch goals. These guys had so many stretch, and I think that's what kind of screwed them, because they're like, okay, if we raise X amount of dollars, you get a Game Master screen, you get maps. Do this, we'll give you a few new books, which we haven't written yet, but we promise we will. Okay, cool. Do this, we'll develop a soundtrack for the game. All right, cool, I'm in. And it eventually just got so big where they're like looking at the scale of what the campaign wanted to accomplish. I think they just got in over their heads. Now, like I said, luckily this is going to come to fruition. We may not see some of our rewards till later next year, because they have to print like minis and make gold coins for certain reward levels, but the base stuff should be out by January. Incredibly hyped for this one. And finally, the other campaign I backed was another role-playing game project. It was for Pathfinder, which is like D&D but better. And it was called Freeport, City of Adventure. So think of it like D&D but pirates and shit. So it's like Pirates meets Call of Cthulhu with Lord of the Rings would be the best way to describe it. I backed it at $200 again, and I got my name in print. Now, it's not just
nice.
Use a Kickstarter, whoever. No, my actual Pathfinder character is now canon in Freeport. So one of my creations I played for a summer was my elven sorceress Thera Narleth, and I'm the captain of the Wily Depths. Because I named my ship after my cat. And I'm like a transport captain. Basically, if you need to get somewhere, I'll take you there. And I'm a water witch. So it was really, really, really cool just to get this book. And I basically paid for 300-400 words on a page. Probably a lot less than that, to be honest with you. And I got this gorgeous near $600 page book. Full color, pull out maps and everything. That campaign got a lot of stretch goals too. You got extra books. You could actually make a paper ship. If you wanted to make your ship, you could actually fold paper and do it. They're also going to give you miniatures, like little D&D guys you can put on a little map or whatever. And I was so happy to back that. And that's kind of what got me started on Kickstarters, was having that potential. Oh my God, my character can be real. There was another one, Kickstarter, which I really want to back, but I just don't have the money for it, was Battletech. And the same guys who did Shadowrun Returns, Harebrained Schemes, I want to say was the developer. Don't quote me on that. But they're going to do another one in the Battletech universe. And I think if you if you pitch like $10,000, so if you're basically like rich beyond stupid whatever, you can have your character in the game, your portrait, and somebody will write an ebook based on you, or you'll be a character in the universe.
Wow.
Yeah. Although the most ridiculous Kickstarter would have been worth $25,000. I interviewed Alan Tudyk about a month ago, Wash from Firefly. He did a show called Con Man, which is about this guy's experiences being an actor at a convention, but it's a fictionalized version of his life, where he plays Ray Nearly. And if you pitched $25,000, you could fly out to California. Nathan Fillion and Alan Tudyk would take you out for cake, a day at the amusement park, and you would celebrate their birthdays with them. That would have been worth $25,000 to me, just to hang out with Nathan Fillion and Alan Tudyk, and they will pay attention to you for the entire day, which I think is kind of cool. When I interviewed Alan, like I said a while back, they haven't redeemed those rewards yet, just due to shooting schedules because of Star Wars Rogue One, so they had to reschedule things.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty amazing deal, all things considered, just to hang out with your favorite movie star for a day. Sure, it's like winning, the golden ticket from, like, friggin' Willy Wonka, but...
Except you gotta pay for it.
But still, how much would you pay to hang out with your favorite person, and you were literally their center of their world for the day?
I don't know.
I'd maybe go 10 grand, maybe. I don't know about 25, but maybe 10.
If I had money to piss away, I probably would.
I don't know. It's almost like taking a really expensive vacation, or like one of those theme trips. You know what? Who would you want to do that with? Like, really think about that. Who would you want to hang out with for let's say a weekend? What's a weekend with X worth to you?
I don't know of anybody.
I'm trying to think who might be fun to hang out. Okay, this is going to be a really weird answer. Vin Diesel. You might be wondering why. I'm not.
He'll play D&D with you.
You're damn right. How many people can say in their life, yeah, well, I spent the weekend with Vin Diesel. And what did you do? We were elf rangers together. Most badass story ever, I'm just saying.
I think we scared Blanchard.
No, I'm just waiting for something I can actually respond to.
Well, what would you do, Blanchard? Let's say money is no object. Who would you want to hang out with for a day?
I don't know.
You would hang out with Michael Chiklis.
No, I wouldn't.
I don't know. He might be kind of fun just to talk to.
Oh, absolutely.
I'd pay $1,000 for an afternoon with him.
Mike would hang out with Kit.
You would hang out with him too, because he's Mr. Feeney, so don't even go there.
I'd have to do the Feeney call if I did.
Yeah.
Okay. If I could hang out with Kit, but Mr. Feeney has to sit in the back of Kit, and David Hasselhoff has to drive me around for the weekend, I would pay for that. That'd be so cool.
I've already had my David Hasselhoff moment. I had it when I was 6 years old. The guy literally wrapped his arm around me and held, because with how my cerebral palsy is, it's on my right side. It's on my Facebook. I have a picture of David Hasselhoff leaning down, holding my right hand, and in our left hand, we're doing the thumbs up. So I've already had my David Hasselhoff moment in my entire life.
Yeah, but just imagine if... Okay, Mike, would you not want to pull up to your girlfriend's house in Kit and have David Hasselhoff walk you up to her door?
Well, yeah, but I don't want to have. I don't want to have Feeney stuffed in the trunk.
Who cared? It's better. It's better that he hides in the trunk, because then he can just do the voice.
Oh, geez.
No wonder where it's coming from.
Just give him a microphone and.
No, in the trunk.
No, the man is too old to get in the trunk.
Okay, fine. Maybe he can
okay, this is one. Mark Hamill.
Well,
what would you do with Mark Hamill for a weekend?
That's a Steve question. Steve is obsessed with the Joker, so that's for Steve, not
Well,
me.
it's not even the Joker. He's Luke Skywalker too, and he's a huge comic nerd.
He'd be a fun guy just to have conversations with.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he would, because his life experiences and the fact that he's such a huge comic nerd and he loves comics. Whether, obviously he's more DC to some degree, but he's also, he's been two iconic characters in pop culture, and that alone is lent quite a bit of reason alone to want to hang out with him.
I think Kevin Smith might be kind of fun to hang out with for a like kind of day too.
Speaking of Kevin Smith, did you know he's a part of Screen Junkies Plus?
I did know that. I don't know whether I'm going to subscribe to it though. I'm thinking about it though.
Do it right now because it's 3 months free. And then it's like $4.99 a month after that.
You know, that's not bad. That's basically like half of a Netflix subscription.
Yeah, I mean, they've got a lot of shows on it, and personally, I like all of their shows anyway. So, like, to see the newer shows and newer content,
it's $5 well spent.
Yeah, and they've got Jay and Silent Bob doing a toy review show,
which is pretty badass. Actually, there's another Kickstarter that I want to talk about. This one is so up our alley because we all enjoy really shitty movies. They're bringing back Mystery Science Theater 3000, and we did this on a Twig Topic show at the beginning of October. I never thought we'd see the day we'd see it again. They brought back Joel, who was the original host of the show, and they have to raise $5.5 million to get 13 episodes made. They're halfway there, so I think we're getting 6 almost. They're at 3. They're just under $3 million right now. So if they get 3.3, they get 6. And they got Felicia Day as the new mad scientist. Like, she's like Dr. Forrester's daughter. They haven't cast the evil henchman yet. But it's going to be a lot of new people in the cast. I know they got one guy from The Nerdist is going to be the new Gizmonix dude.
Yeah, he's over on the right. I don't know who he is, but...
Yeah, same here. I just know he's from The Nerdist, and if Joel trusts him, then why not? And I know they've recast Tom Servo and Crow because the
voices.
Yeah, because the other guys, well, they're doing riff tracks. So, but Joel has said anybody who worked on the show originally, if they want to contribute in a creative sense, they're totally welcome. I don't know whether I like the new voice actors for Crow and Tom yet, but obviously I haven't heard them perform a full episode yet, so I can't really give an opinion on it. But, yeah, because Joel was addressing that during one of the Kickstarter reviews, saying, okay, a lot of you have questions. I've got some answers for you. And he was saying, some people used to be Team Joel and Team Mike, and you used to love them, so give this new guy a chance. So I'm willing to totally give it a chance. And then he broke down the cost as to why $5.5 million. This show should cost like nothing. But it's buying the rights to these movies. That's what costs so much. I mean, even riff tracks, I think they had to raise $500,000 to do Starship Troopers or something like that. So can't say I'm totally surprised that it's so expensive. Although I really hope they release all episodes on Blu-ray at some point. I think if you pitch $250 at this thing, you do get it. You get all the episodes in Blu-ray quality, but you also get like a Gizmonix jacket or something, which is really friggin' tempting. But I don't know. I might pitch like the $25 just so I can see the first episode for free. Well, I guess not for free, but
I know if you spend, from what I'm reading, $85 or more, you can get access to the digital downloads.
I want to do it, but that's a lot of money. But then again, I guess I kind of look at it from a different perspective. I would be buying it anyway because I don't want to pirate something like this. Because because I mean I support it. I just like totally like I don't know, and it's so weird though because Kickstarter doesn't accept PayPal. They
which is odd.
Yeah, which is really weird, but yet Indiegogo does, and GoFundMe. But I think it comes down to credit cards and people backing out and bank charge. It's a lot of weird financial stuff. I don't understand because I'm not that smart.
I think it's because like the credit cards, they can, if the goal falls short, they have it on file so they can charge it when it hits goal. But if it doesn't, then it never has to actually take the transaction. So unlike PayPal, where it's kind of you kind of do it right now.
Yeah, basically like it's one and done sort of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I'm really excited though to see this. I mean, I want it to happen like friggin' now. Like I want my new episodes tomorrow. Actually, in fact, because today's Turkey Day, I think if you go to shoutfactory.com, I think they're showing classic episodes on there too. That's one really cool thing about MST3K. If you go to their official YouTube channel, which is, I'm pretty sure, run by Shout Factory, they have entire movies on there. Like, literally. Sorry, Steve.
Well, I was gonna say, and they're also like Shout Factory is also supporting like with the Bring Back Mystery Science Theater 3000 on their website.
Yeah, like it's so cool just the fact that they're doing that. I mean, my contact over there, Tom, when I talked to him last, we were like rapping about MST3K and just how much fun it is. I mean, I'm so excited to see this back. Like, it's ridiculous. I mean, now I'll admit I'm a Team Mike because those are the most episodes I've seen.
Yep.
And I'm a fan of the later Crow and Tom Servo. But I don't know. It's weird though to think you look at shows like that and you see just how that stuff has evolved into web shows. Like for example, when I used to be with like Channel Awesome, you look at something like say the Nostalgia Critic, you can see the MST3K references in that sort of thing, like that sort of riffing on bad movies, and then with classics like The Room coming out in the last decade, there's no shortage of crap to make fun of. And these guys did it first in the 80s. I mean, this show I think the show started like 1989.
Yeah.
On local television.
They set the precedence for our asshole selves to be doing
Pretty
what
much.
we're doing.
I mean, we owe our geek, like a good chunk of our quote-unquote geek heritage to two puppets and a goofball. Mm-hmm. Really kind of break it down, which I think is amazing.
ShoutFactoryTV.com, they're essential. It's basically a Shout Factory like Netflix without having to pay for it. They have seasons 2 to 4, 5 to 7, and 8 to 10 of MST from Mystery Science Theater. And they also have, for the movies, they've got Attack of the Giant Leeches, Beginning of the End, Blood Waters of Dr. Z. They've, Bride of... they've got all the, a whole bunch of movies, and they're actually running a Thanksgiving movie marathon.
I highly recommend. I think this is on the official YouTube. Watch Laser Blast, The Final Sacrifice, and Manos Hands of Fate. My God, those movies are stupid, but they are amazingly funny. Plus, anything that has Reb Brown in it, if they have it, watch it. I'm pretty sure, not Laser Blast. I'm pretty sure Thor: Hunter from the Future. Maybe that's the one I'm thinking of. But yeah, Laser Blast is a guy who finds a laser. And he literally just puts it on his arm, and just goes killing people. It's so stupid. But it's weird just to see that kind of humor, and they never go in the toilet humor. Like they never approach South Park levels of crude.
Well, because back in the 80s, toilet humor wasn't that big.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's more the MTV, Beavis and Butthead kind of generation. Yeah. And I always find that funny that they can keep it above board without being shitty. It's still funny despite the fact that it's almost dad humor, but not. Hey, Robot.
So, yeah.
Sorry, it's weird because I've always liked the idea behind it, but I didn't start watching it till this past summer. And it's kind of amazing how much I genuinely enjoy that. I don't know. I'm just kind of thrilled that it's back, and I'm kind of glad that projects like Veronica Mars and Star Trek Renegades are able to open the door for TV series on YouTube, for TV series to be quote unquote resurrected. I know right now, Star Trek Renegades, I think they need $300,000 to get episode 2 of Renegades up and going. I think they're close-ish. I think they're short like maybe $30,000-$40,000. They got a week to go, so they might make goal. I hope they do, because Star Trek Renegades, it was like an hour and a half, and it was really good.
I mean, it was really good, but some of the graphics, and I understand because it's not like fully funded by a studio.
Yeah.
Some of the graphics and some of the like background stuff and some of the uniforms were kind of, I don't know, like almost like the original series-esque.
Yeah.
In quality. But I didn't fault it for that. Like, the story was pretty solid, the acting was solid. So I mean, I gave it, props for what it was.
And Veronica Mars, I think they raised over $2 million in a day. I think the final was like $6 million. And then it was the first Kickstarter movie to ever be released in theaters. And it concluded the series in a rather satisfying way. So I'm hoping we see more of these. I'm hoping this opens the door for other series to get reboots too, because if the people want it, this is a great measure to see how things go. And I know a lot of video games do this, but there's a lot of horror stories too, though, where people get ripped off. Where like, well, guys, we raised the money, can't do anything, and Kickstarter's like, well, we can't exactly go after them.
See, there's got to be something to that. There has to be some legal thing to that when you agree to start a campaign.
I think as long as you can prove you did everything you could, that you're off the hook. And it's weird. I don't understand it either, but you're absolutely right, though. Because there are some people who post up video game stuff. They're like, hey, we're going to develop for Xbox One, PS4, and PC. They'll get all this money, and then the team just disappears. Or they're like, well, guys, we don't have the money to finish it. Sorry. Like, one game, it just finished, or I'm pretty sure it's finished, was Friday the 13th game. That one should come out, because I think it's got some pretty heavy people behind it. But there was one, and the Kickstarter was announced during E3. I want to say it was E3, when they did the Shenmue E3 announcement trailer. And that one I felt was just by the company to gauge interest in it. They're like, well, guys, we can't make it unless we get $4 million or some shit like that. It got it in the first, 8 hours or something ridiculous like that. But the game was going to be made anyway. Like, it was going to get additional funding from Sega or whoever was, going to be publishing it at the time. Maybe it's Square. I don't know.
Is Sega still relevant?
They make games. They don't make consoles.
I know,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, they're still relevant.
Yeah, they do have some good properties under their belt. It's just Sonic should die for 5 years. But the last good game I think they made was
Sonic
Alien
Generations?
Isolation. What?
Nothing. No, well, they can't kill their mascot yet because isn't next year his 25th anniversary or some shit like that?
I think this year is, because Sonic 2 Day was last week, I think. Yeah, it was November 18th, 1992, or something like that. So, yeah, I'm not sure. And it just seems like Sega can, for some reason, whoever they have in charge creatively in Sonic seems to get progressively stupider. So I'm pretty sure once a year they give him a really good batting helmet and just beat him with sticks for half an hour and then send him into the writer's room. Because each Sonic game has gotten progressively worse since 2006. However, that being said, the Sonic racing games are really good. I just don't know.
That's because they're placating to children these days, as far as the racing games go.
Well, it's like Super Mario Kart, but with Sonic characters, and it's fun. It's actually the last one was better, almost better than the one that was on the Wii. But Sonic Boom and the Rise of Lyric, I think, just came out a couple of months ago. Wow, how I'm pretty sure everybody who worked in QA just managed to disappear every single shift and nobody noticed. And somehow that game got published. I think the best Sonic game I ever played was probably Sonic CD and Sonic Adventure 2. After that, it gets really, really questionable.
For me, it's old school. It's Sonic 2 for Genesis. And then I didn't get too far in it, but I really did like Shadow the Hedgehog. I like that game for the PlayStation 2 or whatever it was.
Yeah, PS2. Sonic Shadow the Hedgehog, I like the idea of the character. I think the game is stupid, but I like the idea. Yeah. Just the fact that Shadow's got a gun, I think it's amazing.
Yeah.
Although, back in the 90s, I remember this super, super clear. And this is still going. Archie produces an amazing comic on Sonic. I haven't read it since 2004, though.
Yeah.
But there was this artist named I think the name was Spaz. I don't remember what his last name was. But he drew this awesome version of Mecha Sonic and Mecha Knuckles. I would kickstart a game if I could have a 3D Sonic game that didn't suck, where I could play as Mecha Sonic and Mecha Knuckles set in the Saturday morning AM Sonic universe with that original voice cast. Take my money now. Here's $60, give me a game. I would pay that. And it's amazing, though, that like more companies don't realize some of the dead IPs they have could be amazing games if you gave them to the right developer. Like Capcom, for example, isn't doing anything with Mega Man since they got rid of the guy behind it. He went around and made his own game called Mighty Number 9, which has been, admittedly, it's had a troubled development cycle, but we should have a full version by next year. I would there were fan petitions like, say, why don't we here's money, let's do a Kickstarter of Mega Man Legends 3. I would have paid for that.
Yeah.
Or a new Contra or something like that.
You know what I really want? A new updated Crazy Taxi. I used to love Crazy Taxi.
That deserves an arcade release. I totally back you there. I mean, that'd be so much fun now. Especially when you look at all the advancements in controllers now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that could be so much fun. Oh my god, that could be cool.
It's one of the reasons why I love The Simpsons Road Rage. It's essentially Crazy Taxi, but with The Simpsons.
And it was a good game. Surprisingly.
Yeah.
And I remember, speaking of dead IPs, think about all the arcade games that we used to play, but they've never been ported. I mean, I was lucky.
You have no idea what I would do to get the early Soul Edge, Soul Calibur arcade games on system or PC. Those
you can get them for PS3 and Xbox.
Oh, okay.
You just have to download them. But I was super surprised when they ported the Simpsons arcade game, X-Men, stuff like that, but they didn't port something like, say, Sunset Riders, yet we got D&D something over Mystara, or Chronicles of Mystara. And I'm just thinking, man, if you were to go back, give me Terminator 2, give me the Terminator Salvation arcade game. We have all the House of the Dead games. Like, we have all these awesome motion controls now. We have Kinect. We have all this other stupid shit. There's so much more that could be ported over. Or, like, one of the games that got taken off of Xbox Live that was delisted was the 1989 Turtles arcade game. That's gone. We got the remake of TMNT Turtles in Time, but it wasn't the original arcade version.
Yeah, that remake one. The remake for Turtles in Time was weird. I liked the SNES port over the arcade port for it back in the day, but the actual remake for the current generation of consoles, that was just weird.
Yeah, I mean, they took, in essence, the 2003 Turtles, and I'm glad we got it. We got something, but yeah, it wasn't the TMNT that we knew and loved. It would have been awesome had it been an unlockable, like beat the game on the hardest difficulty, here's the original arcade game. Mm-hmm. That I would have went all of the ass for. Mm-hmm. But there's just so many games that that are in arcade cabinets now that are just languishing. Like, I would love for them to bring over something. I'm trying to think of another game that I would love to see. NHL Open Ice, which was they did an updated version a couple years ago, but it wasn't the same.
See, and that's the problem, because it doesn't seem like... It seems like something gets lost in the port process between what the actual arcade game is to what actually ends up on the console. Now, I'm wondering, who makes that damn decision? Who says, okay, we need to change this, this, and this, and this, and this for it to work on a console? And I'm thinking, well if it works on the cabinet, why can't it work on the console without having any changes to it?
Well, there's a difference between a port, a remaster, and an update.
Right.
Ones that are ported usually are pretty good. Like, you look at, say, X-Men Arcade for PS3, you can access the Japanese version of that game, which is not much different, but it's a little bit harder. Or you look at a different arcade game like, say, TMNT, like we were just talking about, that's an update because they remastered everything. Nothing's virtually the same out of that, but they took the same basic premise. I don't know. It's really weird because you look at companies like, say, Capcom. In the last couple of years, we got Marvel vs. Capcom 2, Marvel vs. Capcom Origins, which is the original game. We got Darkstalkers, and I know we got a couple other ones. Oh, Marvel Superheroes, yet they didn't port Marvel vs. Street Fighter and X-Men Children of the Atom. They didn't port the first two games, or X-Men vs. Street Fighter. Which I'm thinking, half the work's already done. Like, yeah. if you've ported Marvel vs. Capcom, as far as I understand it runs on the same engine and hardware. Those games used to run on something called a CPS2 board, which is an arcade board that basically, it's like a giant cartridge, surprisingly, actually. You can literally just pop this thing in an arcade machine with 2 minutes of work, it works. So it's not like they don't know how to do it. Mm-hmm. I guess it comes down to money and rights, and whoever is the creative charge of the studio, because, like I said, if I was Ubisoft, I would have just straight up ported TMNT and then had the option, if you want the remix version, just press select like you could on, say, the Halo the Master Chief Collection, and the game would just, switch for whatever reason.
There's two that I can think of off the top of my head that I think really deserve an update. The original NES TMNT.
Yep, that would be really good.
And Batman from Sunsoft.
That would be interesting to see a new side-scrolling Batman, not like the Rocksteady Arkham.
Not Arkham Knight, not the Arkham games, but just an actual update to that. I'm trying to think of what was the other one. They've updated Mario so much that it's gone beyond what it originally was. I mean, they've changed.
It's gone through so many permutations.
Yeah, I mean, and the same thing with Zelda. Zelda's gone through so many changes. I still maintain, for my personal taste, A Link to the Past is my favorite out of them all. And I know they had that update version for the 3DS. And
A Link Between Worlds.
I watched a couple of playthroughs of it, and it was all right. I don't know. I'm trying to think what other games. Oh, damn! I just had one. When's the last time we got a good Punch-Out game?
The one doesn't even came out back in 2009. I want to say so. Yeah, it's about time for a new Punch-Out. They'll probably save that for the new Nintendo hardware, though, because as much as it pains me to say it, the Wii U's already on its way out.
Yeah. You know what we really need? They'll never do this. We really need a game that you can base around the entirety, even the crappy third season of animation, Captain N the Game Master, where we can go into every single game world from the old days. That would be awesome.
You could almost argue that's Smash Brothers in a weird kind of sense.
Yeah, not
actually,
really.
You know what would be really cool? This is just me just kind of spitballing here. To swing back to kind of Kickstarter here. Now, Nintendo earlier this year had a fan poll where you could vote for who comes into the next Smash Brothers. We got Ryu, some guys from Earthbound, and most recently we got Cloud from Final Fantasy VII. Okay. If you could have a poll where you could pay to kickstart whoever you wanted into it, whoever got the most money, that's the one who makes it. Man, where's my Simon and Trevor Belmont? I would pay for Kevin from Captain and the Game Master to make that appearance. He'd be like a freaking shooter character. That'd be so much fun.
Yep. That would be awesome. But he'd have to have his power pad and zapper. That's the only thing.
I'm trying to think, how would you even balance that? But I guess that could just be his final smash attack. Or some shit like that. Man, I need to play Smash Brothers. But yeah, like there's so much possibility with Kickstarter and video games. But like I said, it's too bad too many people get burned with it, or people take off, or the product that gets delivered is complete shit. But then again, you have stuff like Steam Early Access where people can pay money to play whatever they want. I know very good success with DayZ and stuff like that, which is supposed to come. I think now it's exclusive to Xbox One. That was a very quiet announcement during E3, I want to say, because it was supposed to be a PS4 exclusive. Once again, don't quote me on that, but that's what I remember. I think of other really unique Kickstarters that I've seen. I've seen some really... thought my wife was dying. I guess she's fine. Yeah, she's fine. I've seen people do stuff for like toys and stuff like that. I know there was one guy who had like some 3D printing stuff, so you could like rebuild action figures or something like that. I don't know. It's an amazing platform. I just wish it wasn't abused so much.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But he died at the same time. I'm sorry that I'm dominating this. I'm just really passionate about this like type of thing. Because like I said, I see so much possibilities for it, and I don't want shitty people to ruin it for people. Like for example, Steve's game that buy the rights, that should have been funded like weeks ago because that's such a cool idea.
I think it's kind of, I mean, it's original. I mean, and recently, like, we got some friends to play Settlers of Catan with us. My wife likes the game.
Oh,
so.
It's so much fun. I love that.
And it's very fun. And, like, we like Ticket to Ride and some of those type of games, too. So, I mean, like, a lot of those games are very fun to play. And then you get games that are like Pandemic. And I don't know if you've ever played it. It's like a global outbreak, and all the players have to work against the game to win. So it's pretty interesting. But anyways, that aside, yeah, I'm hoping that this game makes it because it's actually one that I think would be really cool to play. But that's also because I'm a movie nerd geek, so that's why I'm excited for it.
I want to say Pandemic. I think we played that on Terrible Warriors. I think we did like last Christmas, I think.
Yeah, you fight some global virus and it pops up consistently during the game. But speaking of things that pop up from some kind of media, Google actually made a Star Trek style communicator prototype.
Want?
Yes.
Take my money now. Screw the Apple Watch. I want this.
I would pay good money for this. And it's supposed to be like linked to your Android devices. It says you tap it and you can talk to your mobile device. Yeah, it's.
So it's basically just like a wearable earpiece that has a touchpad on it, more or less.
It's similar to the comm device that Picard and crew used.
Yeah, you just tap it. Now, does sound come out of the device, or does it come out of the phone?
Yes, it says the prototype was a Bluetooth-enabled lapel pin that was equipped with a microphone and could be activated with just a simple tap. It would then output sound through a built-in speaker or with headphones, and would allow users to talk to Google without the need to get out their smartphones.
Man, why was this invented like years ago? This sounds like it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, and the funny thing is the guy says, I always wanted that pin. You just ask it anything and it works. That's why we were like, let's go prototype this and see how it feels, and so like they actually created it, and I'm like, yes.
Now if you could get this to work with Apple, even though this is an Android device, you can just tap your chest and say, Siri, where's the restaurant or whatever. Like, my God, the applications of this thing are amazing.
Siri, where's the beef?
I was going to say that.
Yeah, it's thinking, wow, that's a really cool idea.
I remember when, I think it was when the iPad launched, my buddy Optibotimus, he found an app on the App Store that actually turned his iPad into the Star Trek datapad from the TOS.
I have that app. Yeah, it's fun.
I would love to have the iPad Pro. I mean, I know Steve's an Android guy, but since I'm the one that always uses, Apple. I know, I'm the one that always uses iTunes and everything else, and I would love to have the iPad Pro so I could actually read comics in bed and watch movies in bed and everything else.
Well, you can do that on a regular iPad. I haven't found an Android tablet that I like yet. And I haven't found a Windows tablet that I like yet either.
Yeah, I'm not a tablet fan, so it's not really for me.
I find once you get used to them, I actually got this really awesome case from Logitech They sent it to me a couple of months ago. It works amazingly well. Like, I can actually use my iPad like a tiny computer now because it has a full keyboard, not this hut and peck sort of shit.
Yeah.
And it's part of the case, which is kind of amazing. Although I've always been curious to try. I think they're the Windows Surface ones where they're like part tablet, part laptop. You can just pop off the screen.
Surface Pro is the Surface Pro 4 is the newest. Yeah, Surface Pro 4 is the newest one that they've been advertising.
I should contact Microsoft tomorrow, see if I can scoop one for it. I'm really curious because it's such a neat idea, and I don't get out as much as I used to, but I could see this being tremendously useful for other applications, like for you to get out. Like, for example, me as a role-playing nerd, I could use this to bring sounds to the table. I could draw maps on it and show people exactly where they are. I see so many fun applications with that. Plus, if I don't want to bring a full laptop with me, just bring the friggin' tablet.
Yeah. For me, it's more. Well, for me, it's more so. When my mom was still alive, I would go between, doing stuff here at my computer at my desk, and then going in and watching TV and laying down for a little while. So now, because this apartment is kind of stupid and doesn't have a cable jack in the bedroom, and they won't put one in the bedroom, and the one out here in the living room, there's actually two. One doesn't even work. It's like I can't have TV in the bedroom because the apartment complex won't let you do stuff across the ceiling or across the floor or blah, 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 blah. So I'm like, oh, I'd love to have an iPad because I could just use the Wi-Fi and jump on Hulu and just watch TV all afternoon or whatever. So I don't know.
So yeah, and then there's this magical app that lets you see cell phone towers, Wi-Fi signals, and satellites all around you, which Dodd would like because he could spy on people.
Here, actually, I'm actually gonna try and download this thing right now. We're here on the phone.
So $3 iOS app for iPhone or iPad. Doesn't look like they have one for Android.
I figures it's $3. That shouldn't be too big a deal here. I'm just gonna find it. There we go. My wife's like,
this is when you fire it up, you see a cobalt blue screen where the app takes your GPS location and loads a series of data sets drawn from a global database that includes the cell towers around you and the satellites overhead. All in all, the database includes 7 million cell towers, 9 million Wi-Fi routers, and hundreds of satellites. And then it shows your location, and it's like if you were doing like a star map, it's doing that but with GPS and your phone or device.
All right, I'm downloading it right now. You just have to give me a second here. But yeah, I'm really curious to see what everything would look like. I think that'll be really cool just to drive through Toronto and just see what everything looks like. It'd be kind of like seeing the Matrix, honestly.
Hey, the Matrix of leadership.
Whoa. Okay. Sorry, I entered my password wrong.
You have passwords?
Fat fingers. It says I need iOS 9 or later, and I don't want to update. So next week, I don't like the new iOS features, so I'm going to wait till they remove some of the stupid shit.
Next time on Dragon Ball Z.
Dodd gets an update to his app. Oh, I don't want to get an iPhone 6 yet either.
That aside,
I'm sorry, guys.
No, it's fine. We'll find out how you like it next week, because I know you're gonna have fun going around spying on
this
on
app
satellites.
has failed this
Damn
podcast.
right I am.
This app has failed this podcast.
That's right.
Speaking of which, we had the top 100, and
God.
people were giving me shit for liking the Flash.
Yeah.
It was more so because I ranked it, because of where I ranked it on my personal list, and then because the fact it actually hit the top 100, but it wasn't just me that voted for it. And I'm not gonna even, I'm not trying to be a dick or throw this guy under the bus for calling me out on it, but because I do have a superhero bias, but at the same time I felt that it was the strongest. It was my favorite, but it was like the strongest out of the superhero shows that I watch.
And sadly, I can't convince him to watch Daredevil.
I don't like Daredevil.
I know.
I got Blair to like Daredevil, and she's superheroed right the fuck out.
My wife likes Flash, so
Yeah, Steve's wife, as long as they have powers, she'll watch it. As long as they don't have powers, she doesn't watch it. So
she says Batman's a hoax or a hack because he doesn't have any powers. So like,
your wife should try Jessica Jones. That show's really good. It's fucking dark, but it's good.
I'm having a hard enough time keeping her engrossed in the shows we're watching. It's not gonna happen.
I've watched Daredevil with Blair over the last couple of days, so I'm really glad she's into it, which really makes me happy because she tapped out of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. at the beginning of season 2.
Yeah, see, she was never interested in that. She's been interested in like we're watching Supergirl, we're watching The Flash, and those are like the extent of the superhero shows. Like she watches Heroes Reborn with me, but
I hear that ended on a really stupid note.
it's not done yet.
Oh, I thought it's like mid-season finale was done or whatever.
No, it's 13 episodes.
Oh, okay, so it's going to take a
not
break
done yet.
like this week or next week and then come back in January, right?
Yeah, I think so. They changed everything. The whole it's gotten weird, but it's almost in a good way though. It's what season 2 should have been when they were planning on keeping some of the old cast and getting new people.
I'm looking forward to it. Like, I've been DVRing it, so I have stuff to binge watch during during the dead season between the beginning of December and like the beginning of February.
Well, we've been doing that with iZombie and Supergirl, so like holding them back so that we can watch them then.
Yeah, I need to get back into iZombie, and I still need to finish season 1 of The Flash so I can just binge watch season 2. But thank God for apps like for like the CW and all the television stations that allow you to watch stuff online.
Yeah, so I mean, I caught crap for that on the top 100, but that's I put it I think at like number 10 or something on my list, my personal list. And it showed up somewhere like, I don't know, where was it, like in the 30s or 40s or something?
yeah, something like that.
Something like that. I mean, in
Daredevil hit the
okay.
top 20, so that's all right.
Yeah, I mean, I was happy. I mean, I didn't really care. And then people were giving me crap because Boy Meets World hit the list too, which funny thing is Girl Meets World got renewed for a 3rd season. So
Boy Meets World hit the top 50. That's why people were giving it crap. But that
Good show.
I can't. No, I don't. We don't want to get into any of all that, and I just can't deal with the top 100 right now. So, no comment.
First world problems. Here we go.
it pissed Mike off. So,
Yeah,
So, yeah, there's that.
you could say Cousin It showed up and ruined the party.
Now, was it the original Addams Family or the remake?
It's the new generation. We'll leave it there. So speaking of dead things that come alive,
Dracula Dead and Loving It?
no, are you talking about things that suck blood? And don't die. So there's a company that plans to resurrect humans with artificial intelligence by 2045.
Now, this poses a number of ethical questions.
And I don't know if this is like a real website or a real thing that's actually being worked on, or if this is just total bullshit that's being like floated around the internet.
Well, I've heard of similar things like this before. Like one of the technologies I've heard talked about is called brain taping. They basically copy what your brain is and upload it to a machine that can think like you.
Well, what they're talking about doing is because like the even this site's like they're not sure if it's a marketing play or a hoax. They're like, at any rate, the company says that they want to store the conversational styles, behavioral patterns, thought processes, and information about how your body functions from the inside out on a silicon chip using AI and nanotechnology, while at the same time freezing your brain after you've died and storing it, keeping it safe until the technology is like, ready, and then they're going to input your brain into this like hybrid like artificial body, so that essentially your original brain and
So there's some
knowledge.
wetware inside the hardware, basically.
Yeah, your actual brain would be put inside the hardware that would be set up to function like your old body, and
Basically,
your
you
brain would
become
know how to
RoboCop.
communicate. Yes.
That, or they better make sure they don't have any Simon Phoenixes around, because that's going to turn ugly.
Now, here's something, and this is totally taking this conversation in a very serious direction for just a moment. Now, let's say they actually make this technology work. Think of the legal problems this will then create.
Yeah.
When are you considered legally dead? If you die and are brought back, are you legally a person again?
Well, it's like bicentennial, man.
Yeah, like it raises a lot of really weird ethical questions. Well, what if someone is brought back who doesn't want to be brought back?
Yep.
Stuff like that, and at which point you have to start looking at population as well. Like I don't know. It raises
but if
some
you're
weird
synthetic, if you're synthetic, you wouldn't necessarily need food.
But you still have to maintain nutrients to keep your brain alive.
For your brain, yeah.
Yeah, like it's really weird because I've watched I remember watching a horror movie a couple of years ago, and it was about soldiers that died in Iraq, but they came back to life, and they come back to their old lives, and they're like, you're dead, so we kind of gave away your estate, sort of thing, right? Because, they're legally dead. So I'm just wondering, like, how do you prepare estates like this? I mean, like, how do you contest a will if someone's, like, it raises, like I said, some really weird questions about it. And would you want to come back, or is it really you, sort of thing? I mean, I remember, Steve, we had a conversation before on Future Imperfect. We were talking about transporter murder. And let's say an AI can replicate how you think. Is that really you, so to speak? Like, how do you define the soul, I guess? Once again, I'm taking this to philosophically a million different places. But these are the kind of things that keep me up late at night. Honestly, I probably
No, it's not. It's more so the soda and the
Fallout.
It's all the caffeine you ingest that keeps you laid
much.
up late at night.
The night time's the right time, gentlemen. But yeah, I don't know. Just I'd probably do it, but mostly because I have an all-consuming fear of death. Or sorry, it's not dying that scares me. It's the loss of consciousness that frightens me. But if there could be a process that would guarantee your consciousness continues.
See, you have the same issue I do.
Yeah, like, I'm not scared of, being shot in the head and dying. I just want to be able to recognize the fact that I'm gone. I don't know, But just imagine that, though. If you could put your body or your brain into a different body, think of all the problems that would solve. But also, you might have different problems come up, too. There's a role-playing game, once again, I play called Shadowrun. They talk about people that do stuff like this. They put their brains into different bodies, and sometimes their brain grows cancer because it's not used to all the chemicals that are keeping the brain alive. And hey, you don't have a hand. This isn't natural. I should maybe go fight this, and stuff mutates, stuff like that. So I don't know. And just I also remember another book that I read years ago. I can't remember what it was though, but the storyline was when is being alive too long a bad thing? Like, when would you go nuts? Because let's say these robot
Hell, I'm
bodies,
already nuts.
Yeah, but can you imagine living for 300 years?
Yes.
No, I can't. I can't imagine doing a Vandal Savage.
Yeah, because you would eventually go crazy because you'd have so many memories. And our brains are not designed like that. So once again, that brings in more legal questions of healthcare. Because eventually, you're probably going to have to euthanize these people because they may become irreversibly fucking crazy or worse. But that's an ethical debate for a different day.
I know. I know Steve didn't watch this show because it's not really his thing, I don't think. Did you ever watch the AMC show? They actually ported it over from BBC. It's called Humans.
Heard of it, but never watched it.
I watched it. It was pretty cool. It was about... wasn't about exactly what we're talking about here, but it was more so about artificial intelligence having actual intelligence and memories. And think of Bicentennial Man crossed over with iRobot, and that's what essentially Humans is. It was a pretty good little series, and I'm kind of wondering if a second season is going to come for AMC for this, maybe mid-season. But it essentially is kind of like this whole thing of, these synths, whether they're real or not. And it's not exactly what we're talking about here as far as transferring like Dodd's consciousness into a synthoid body, but the synthoid actually having its own consciousness. And it was a really psychologically interesting show.
Like, I think that's a really fascinating idea for humanity to explore, the exploration of not just man and machine, but the exploration of consciousness, to see where we could go, to see what the limits are of human knowledge, understanding, and perception. So it'd be amazing. Now, I wouldn't want to be one of the first test patients for this because, oh God, no, you don't know what's going to happen. Maybe when the technology gets perfected in 50, 60 years. But it would just be amazing to think that we could be living side by side with robots or cyborgs, true cyborgs. So it'd be kind of like Deus Ex Human Revolution or like Ghost in the Shell or some shit like that. Bring on the RoboCops, that's all I'm saying.
I still think I'm. It's a little weird of a concept to think about, but I'm still interested to hear what they have to say about it.
Yeah, like I said, hopefully there'll be something legit come out of this. One thing I've always wanted to do for This Week in Geek, I've just never got around to it because I'm always afraid to have this conversation because I'm afraid I'm going to say something really stupid, is talking to people who actually run those cryogenic facilities, sort of thing like that, just see how they handle what's going on because they haven't perfected cryogenics yet. The freezers from Aliens are a long way off.
Yeah.
I think it'd be interesting to find out how that actually works, like that process, and to find out if they actually have Walt Disney on ice.
If anybody would pull it off, it might be him.
I'm wondering if he's actually really dead, because apparently Walt Disney started following me on Twitter about a month ago.
I'm pretty sure a dead mega billionaire would not have Twitter.
Yeah.
Just saying, Mike.
That's what his secretary is for.
Oh, dang.
Every time a person as an egg avatar follows you on Twitter, it's Walt Disney.
No, this wasn't an egg. This was an actual picture of the... whatever. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Was he a corpse?
I don't think so.
I think future Spock needs to definitely tweet about this.
Oh, jeez.
He's dead, Jim.
Yeah, pretty much. He's dead, Jim.
My God, Steve, we have to keep future Spock's Twitter account going in good faith. His cyborg body would want it. We're going to hell for this, aren't we?
Yes, you are.
Not dishonoring the dead. He's just dead right now. He'll be back.
Well, the needs of the many do outweigh the needs of the few, or the one.
Oh, damn.
So yeah, and of course the biggest news of the week, Civil War.
Yeah.
I saw this trailer about a minute or two after it dropped. It just happened to be on YouTube. You've got a new video from Marvel. Oh, what's this? Oh my God. I thought they would have waited to hold this back until Force Awakens. I'm really glad they didn't.
Well, for one, they had Chris Evans and Downey Jr. on Jimmy Kimmel last night, and then in addition, we were recording the Top 100, and the minute I saw this drop, I muted the Top 100 and I started watching the trailer.
It's like, all right, everybody, shut the fuck up. This is new.
And then I rewatched it today so I could actually hear it all the way. But I liked it, but I still felt like I was kind of underwhelmed after watching it. Like I was expecting something more, but I don't know what.
I wanted more Black Panther.
You were expecting Spider-Man to swim.
No, it wasn't even that. There was something just, I don't know, it it was lacking something. I don't know what that something is. I felt underwhelmed watching it, and it had nothing to do with Spider-Man. Yeah, I wondered about it, but the way I figure it is they're gonna pull a Lucas type thing. They're gonna wait and show him in the last trailer if they're gonna show him at all.
My guess is if we do get a Spider-Man focused trailer for Civil War, Super Bowl.
Probably, yeah. But see, I don't want... See, that's one of the greatest things about the Episode 7 trailers. We all know Hamill...
You know they're going to show Luke later this week anyway.
We all know that Hamill is cast in the movie. He is billed as one of the stars of the movie. We all understand that. That means he's going to be in the movie. That doesn't necessarily mean I need to see him in the first trailer, in the second trailer, in the international trailer. I want to go to the movie theater and actually be surprised when the hell Luke Skywalker shows up. I don't want that to be put into a damn trailer.
See, one of the great things about the Star Wars Episode 7 trailers is, yeah, we've seen a lot of stuff, but we're not given a whole hell of a lot of context.
Right.
I'm glad it hasn't given away the story, more or less.
Right, yeah. And that's kind of how I felt about the Civil War trailer. It kind of gives away the basic plot about, oh my God, Captain America stepped over the line, there needs to now be a government, blah, 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 blah. But it still doesn't tell you why he stepped over the line or what he did. It still doesn't tell you why he and Iron Man are no longer friends or what, you know.
It
actually does tell you. It tells you all that in the trailer. Like they had the Sokovia or Sokovia Accords, which had to do with the events of Age of Ultron.
Right.
Weird, because you'd think the Avengers did a good thing by saving the people.
Well, when you have a Hulk,
I guess it's for what happened when he rampaged through South Africa.
Yeah.
What I got from the trailer, it looks like Cap's protecting Bucky for the events in the Winter Soldier. So I'm wondering if Bucky did one last thing, and then I know at the end of Ant-Man they beat the shit out of him. They've got him in custody. So I'm wondering if Winter Soldier did something really, really bad, but he was brainwashed or something.
They had to beat it out of him.
Actually, who's the bad? Oh, you're right. It's Baron Zemo is one of the bad guys for Cap. So
yeah.
So I was gonna say who's the major villain, but I guess it's mostly gonna be Iron Man and his team, which is Iron Man, War Machine, Vision, and who else?
Black Widow.
And where it's Hawkeye.
And Black Panther.
Yeah, and Black Panther, whereas Team Cap is Hawkeye, Falcon, Scarlet Witch, and him. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm really looking forward to it, man. I mean, I kind of don't want to wait 5 months.
You are just asking for people to comment on your Facebook stuff, aren't you, Mike? Ship me with a fictional character. This could be very funny or very wrong.
That was the first response, RoboCop. Goddamn. Alex J. Murphy, my boo. But yeah, I don't know. It's nice that the trailer gives you a nice basic thing, and it shows it's not just the story we saw in the comics back in the mid-2000s. It's obviously not the Stanford incident. It could be something related, like you said, to the Sokovia Accords, which is already a thing, because I've mentioned that in S.H.I.E.L.D. Mm-hmm. I've heard them talk about the Accords once. So I guess that kind of leans correct. I kind of wonder how Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is going to tie into this.
I really don't know at this point.
Because I know there was some stuff during Jessica Jones you could say connects to S.H.I.E.L.D., but I don't want to give that away because the series has only been out a week. So I'll wait at least 2 to start talking spoilers. Yeah, I mean, I'm really glad it happened. I'm just kind of wondering what other big trailers can they show before the holidays now? What else is left?
Well, I do know from Stephen Amell himself on his Facebook video chats that he does, you go see Star Wars, you're going to see a turtle trailer.
Oh, shit, that would be cool.
That's what he said on his Facebook chat.
Now, I want to know how long is that trailer? We're going to get 30 seconds?
He said, you go see one of the biggest movies of the year, you're going to see a movie that's about turtles coming next year. So that's all he said. He didn't say if it was how long.
Well, when is Turtles coming out next year?
Good question.
August again?
I think.
Is filming done for Turtles?
I think they're in post-production.
So yeah, you would probably get at least a minute trailer. You might actually get some decent stuff out of it. They probably got the trailer cut and ready to go. So yeah, all right. I think we're supposed to see a new Batman versus Superman one too soon, aren't we?
I'm guesstimating it's going to be about the same time as Star Wars coming out.
And I know we get X-Men Apocalypse too.
Yeah.
Which that'll be pretty kick-ass.
According to, and again, grain of salt, Wikipedia, grain of salt, release date's June 3rd, 2016 for TMNT Half Shell.
Wow, they are taking a big risk on that because they put it during June. That means they really believe in it.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, all right. We might actually get a full trailer then, a full 2 minutes then. Sign me the fuck up. So yeah, we still got Batman, TMNT,
Deadpool, Suicide Squad, Civil War,
man.
a lot of Star Trek Beyond.
When's that? Oh yeah, when is that supposed
July.
to be? July. Yeah, we should. If we don't see it in the next few weeks, my guess is
Super Bowl
or maybe April.
Mm-hmm.
But you'd think they'd start hyping it up now, because I've heard nothing about it.
You know, you'd think that they would.
Because they're not done with it.
Yeah. I mean, you'd think with the irony.
You saw so much for Into Darkness, though.
Yeah. You know, if they really wanted to be ironic, and I know they won't do this, they would put it in front of episode 7. just
might actually,
like a 10-second teaser, not even anything super long or anything, but like a 10-second teaser or something of Star Trek Beyond. Just put it right in front of Star Wars, because then you'll have another 60.5 million in advanced ticket sales just to see the Star Trek trailer.
Yeah, like I know Force Awakens has broken all these records already. Like it's gonna be, man, guys, it's like 20 days away, realistically.
Yep.
Shit, yeah! I'm excited. I'm super excited. And this is the one time being a handicapped guy is a good thing, because they'll let the handicapped guy in first.
Nice.
Fuck y'all. My cats are giving each other high fives. Why? Go to bed. Weird me out.
So I think that's about it.
Yeah.
So is there anything you guys want to pimp out this week?
We should have a new Twig topic show coming out over the weekend on the Fallout series. So looking forward to talking about the Wasteland, the Commonwealth, New Vegas, and everything else in between. So grab your pit boys and tune it in to Diamond City Radio, and we'll talk about that with Ryan and Roebuck before we hit our Star Wars special just after The Force Awakens.
As long as it's not all in Wookiee, it'll be all right.
Maybe a little bit of Huttese in there. A little bit of Bocce.
Lord. I still say Dustin does the best one.
You should hear Blair's Chewbacca. It's amazing.
God.
Hey, Blair, come here. Do Chewie.
No, we don't need Chewie on this show.
I think she's asleep.
Yeah, good. Let her sleep. Don't. No. No.
No, too late. She's up.
Oh, my God.
What? She's running. Do Chewie.
That is actually pretty good.
I love how you just ran out here.
Well, I thought something was wrong.
I needed Chewbacca.
I thought the cat was having a seizure or something.
No.
Please just
kill
him on air. Just kill him on air, please. Just kill him.
And then I realized the cat was sleeping beside me.
Go back to bed, Chewie.
You're such an ass, dude.
Yeah, I know. Isn't married life great?
The pull bag is doing somewhat of a dark side December. We're reviewing 3 different Star Wars comic series. Ryan Drost from Star Joes and I just did the Thrawn trilogy, which the story was okay. The art, and I know the art is 10 years old, whatever.
Story's okay. Speak ill not of the throne.
Okay, so here's the thing. All right. Ryan and I originally did, because as most of you may know, and I know Mike knows this because I've said this before, in the movie canon, Boba Fett is by far the dumbest and worst character of them all. Because he does nothing other than kidnap Han, take him to Jabba, and then he gets eaten by the Sarlacc. So it took me to actually reading the Jango and Boba Fett and Boba Fett is Dead, the Blood Ties trade paperbacks, for me to actually enjoy Boba Fett as a character. So when Ryan and I had done that one in episode 66 of the Pull Bag, I was like, okay, what other Star Wars stuff would you recommend? He's like, oh, I recommend the stuff with Jason and Jaina, the Solo twins. And I'm like, wait, Solo twins? And here I'm thinking the Thrawn trilogy is about them when they're kids. Oh, no. Leia's still fucking pregnant in the damn thing. Sorry, Steve.
Man, I could school you guys in Star Wars EU lore.
Yeah. I know. So we got that coming up. We just released Joe Reed and I did TMNT 50 from IDW. I don't know how much more my heart can take from Tom Waltz and Bobby Curnow and Kevin Eastman on the writing with TMNT. Oh my God, those guys made me cry twice when they quote unquote killed Donnie and when they brought him back.
Did he get a sexy robot body?
No. Well, he had Metalhead for a little while. Let's see what else. Tooncast Beyond is coming back for a few episodes. Not going to say what those are just yet. M-Wire's still going strong. We still have to record the next couple episodes for that. We've essentially wrapped up the top 100. We still have one more episode to go, the kind of finale wrap-up for that thing, but that's essentially done. That's all I got. What about you, Steve? What do you got coming up?
Well, to conclude the dog story from last week, I did get a new dog. No, we did not go to Chicago. Weather was going to be crap, so we opted to, we drove an hour and found one at a guy that's a hunter that was selling a dog. So we picked up this beagle pup there, and 9-week-old, already good with the potty training, so we're already ahead of the game. And then so yeah, that's what's been going on there. As far as everything else, pretty much just knocking out stuff for my school projects that are, because my semester's coming to a close, and then worked on the short film, got the music score. We got to meet with the students that were putting the music score together, and so it was interesting to see how that process works. And then gonna have the film fest coming mid-December. So yep, that's about it for me, other than of course the top 100 and other stuff like that. So yeah, go ahead and yeah, sorry, I had a brain fart. Go ahead and
so everybody should have.
How can people get a hold of you? Yes, how can people get a hold of you first?
Psychically. People can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook under @BirdmanDodd. And happy Thanksgiving, everybody, and make sure you're watching the MST3K Turkey Day Marathon.
Yeah. You can find me on Twitter @TFG1Mike.
And you can find me on Twitter @SCP21. And happy Thanksgiving to everybody from the Geekcast Radio Network and Altered Geek team. And we will catch you next week.